Hey there, CJ Math students. I'm going to try and help you out with homework 9.8, compound events. And compound probability is basically just the idea that it's the probability of two independent events both occurring. And how you do it is you just take the probability of one event and multiply it by the probability of the other event. So here we go. Number one, there are 7 nickels and 5 dimes in your pocket. So initially you should go ahead and write out your total. So you have a total of 12 items, right? 7 plus 5 gave you 12. You randomly pick a coin out of your pocket and then return it to your pocket. Then you randomly pick another coin. Both times the coin is a nickel. So you wanted to choose a nickel. So you had 7 nickels for your first time. So the probability of picking a nickel is 7 out of 12 because there are 7 nickels in your pocket. So this is your first time, and then the second time you did it, it's the same probability because you put the coin back and you just tried to pick again. Again, it's 7 out of 12, right? And then you're just going to multiply this. 7 twelfths times 7 twelfths. So 7 times 7 is 49. 12 times 12 is 144. So there actually is a typo here. The answer choice should be B. This is 144. And it's the one time this program that I've used is messed up, so I apologize for that. B is your answer. So let's look at number 2. You select a card from a standard shuffle deck of 52 cards. You return the card to the shuffle deck and then select another. Both times the card is a diamond. Note there are 13 of the 52 cards are diamonds. So what's the probability of just randomly choosing a diamond? Well, there are 13 diamonds out of a total of 52 cards. So 52 total, right? Not 52 total diamonds, just 52 total cards. So you did that one time. What's the probability of after you putting it back, you do it again? Well, that's 13 over 52 again, right? So basically you're going to do 1352 times 1352, but that's going to give you a huge, gigantic number. So you should really try and simplify these fractions before you multiply them, and you can do that. So 13 over 52 can be simplified by dividing both by 13. You get 1/4. So really you're doing 1/4 times 1/4. And that makes sense, right? Because in a deck there are diamonds, there are hearts, there are clubs, and there are spades. There are 4 different types. So what's the probability if there are 4 different types of choosing one type? Well, it's 1/4 times 1/4. And that will give you 1/16. So D. Let's take a look at number 4. A peach basket contains 4 apples and 7 peaches. All right. You randomly select a piece of fruit and then return it. And you randomly select another piece of fruit. What's the probability that both pieces of fruit are apples? So just initially, the first time, what's the probability of choosing an apple? Well, there are 4 apples out of 7 total pieces of fruit. I did 4 plus, 11, my fault. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 total pieces, right? So basically it's 4 11s, so that's the first time, and then in the second time it's the same thing, 4 over 11. So you're doing 4 11s times 4 11s, and that gives you 16 over 121. Number 5. There are 4 nickels and 4 dimes in your pocket. You randomly pick a coin out of your pocket, then return it, and you randomly pick another coin. The first coin is a nickel, the second coin is a dime. So we're going to have different probabilities. So the first time you want to choose a nickel. There are 4 nickels out of how many coins? Well, 4 and 4 is 8. So 4 out of 8 for the nickels times the dimes. Actually, it's going to end up being the same because there are also 4 dimes. So 4 out of 8 dimes. So the probability of choosing a nickel and then a dime is 4/8 times 4/8, otherwise known as a half times a half. You could do this math if you wanted to. It's 16 over 64. This is a really big number. You should be like, shoot, I should have simplified earlier. When you did 4/8 times 4/8, you could have cross-canceled, and you could have said, oh, this is 1 over 2 and 1 over 2, and you got 1/4. So 16 over 64 is equivalent to 1/4. A is your answer. I'm going to do number 6 because it contains 2 separate things. So let's take a look. You flip a coin and then roll a fair 6-sided die. The coin lands heads up and the die shows a 3. So the probability of getting heads on a coin is 1 over 2. The probability of getting the number 3 on a die is 1/6. So there's your probability, and you just multiply those two together. So you get 1 over 12. Number 8, you flip a coin twice. The first flip lands on tails. The second flip also lands tails. What's the probability? So getting tails the first time is just 1/2, and getting tails the second time is also 1/2. So the probability of getting tails 2 times in a row would be 1 out of 4. And you think about that, right? The possibilities, you could get tails and tails, you could get tails and heads, you could get heads and tails, and then you could also get heads and heads, right? So the only out of 4 possibility, getting tails 2 times, it's 1 out of 4, right? All right, let's do 10. You roll a fair-sided die twice. The first roll shows a 6 and the second roll shows a 6. So what's the probability of getting the number 6 twice? So probability of getting a 6 is just 1/6, and the probability of getting a 6 again, 1/6. Multiply those, 1/36. All right, so to get a 6 twice in a row when you roll a die, you have about a 1 in 36 chance, or about a 2.8% chance. That's in theory, right? You could literally today roll a die, get a 6, and roll another die, get a 6, and be like, wait, it only took me 2 rolls, right? Or you could roll a die and it can take you much more than 36. It's all about, this is just the theoretical probability of this compound event. All right, number 11, a magazine contains 12 pages. You open a random page and the page number is 5 or 9. So there's only going to be one 5 and only going to be one 9 in those 12 pages, right? There's only going to be one of these and one of these. So that's 2 pages out of the 12. So 2 out of 12, because there were 12 total pages, right, is your fraction, and then you simplify that. That's down to 1/6, so A. Kind of difficult to think about, but just think about it. If you read a 12-page book, there's only going to be one page 5 and only one page 9. What's the probability of randomly opening to either page 5 or 9? 2 out of the 12 pages, 1/6. Number 14, a basket contains 3 apples, 3 peaches, and 4 pears. So total, we have 3, 6, 10 total pieces of fruit. You randomly select a piece of fruit. It is an apple or a peach. So apples, we had 3, and peaches, we had 3. So there's 6 possible fruits that I could select that would satisfy my condition there. So 6, and then we had a total of 10. So 6 out of 10. You're like, wait, I don't see it. That's because you can simplify it. So 3/5. So you have a 60% chance of selecting an apple or a peach from that basket with those 10 fruit. And number 15, you roll a fair 6-sided die twice. The first roll shows a 6 and the second roll shows a 5. So again, what's the probability of me getting a 6? That's 1/6. What's the probability of me getting a 5? That's also 1/6. So getting a 6 then a 5 would be 1/36. B is your answer. All right. Call me if you have questions, please.